everyone, this is Catherine, the Needleberry Stitcher. Today's Friday, February the 2nd, 2024, and I'm here today to show you my progress on my projects in the month of January since the last time that I saw you. I have 6 projects that I've worked on since my last video at the end of December, but only 5 of those that I worked on in January, but I'm going to show you all 6 anyway. This is a channel about cross stitch. If this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. If you're returning, thank you very much for coming back, and I hope that you enjoy what I'm going to show you today. I've had a couple of people, a few have reached out and asked if I would do my 2023 end of year whip parade video, except I did do a video, but I only showed the projects that I worked on in 2023. So there were only, I think, 26 projects that I worked on last year. So I'm still trying to figure out if I can pull together some time to film the whole, like an extended version of my whip parade. There's a lot. I think there's over 90 projects now. Plus I've gone through some old containers and found a few things that I previously had kind of said, no, I'm never going to work on these again. And some of them I was pretty determined I was never going to work on again because I had actually started like cutting out chunks of fabric to make greeting cards and other smalls, so those will never be able to be finished. But I might reconsider some of them in the future. One of them was actually an Afghan that I started stitching on. It was from one of the Just Cross Stitch magazine series. It was, I think it was almost 6 issues or more. It was a bunch of birdhouses on a great big giant Afghan, and I put that in my closet and I said I will never finish that. But I forgot about it. So when I was going through my containers, I found it again and I started thinking like, I don't know, that maybe could be kind of fun. So never say never to a project, right? That's why I never get rid of anything. Even the ones that I have in my whip parade from 20 or 25 years ago that I probably should just not, I should just take them out of my rotation or out of my active whips count, because I don't know that I'll ever finish them, but I always have this dream that I will. Okay, I've talked enough. I'm going to get into my projects. First one I'm going to show is one that I started in December. Was it December? Yeah, it was the first Saturday of December. We have had a start along for Strawberry Fields Forever, and I'll put a picture in of what it's going to look like when it's done. And since then we've met, let's see, we met the first Saturday in December. There was a group of us that had a Zoom call to kick it off, and then we met again the first Saturday in January and continued. I haven't yet scheduled anything for, actually tomorrow is the first Saturday of February, but I'm actually going to be away tomorrow, so we won't be able to Zoom. I wonder if I can schedule it for people, for anyone who wants to go, but even if I can't be there, I think they can still join the call. But anyway, I'm rambling. So this is the progress that I've had on it. So I worked on it a couple of times, like during our Zoom calls, but then I also worked on it a little bit here and there just to continue to make progress. I worked on it in December. In December, I ended up getting most of the house done. I got this fence done, the gate, as well as the brickwork. I did that during some really long extended work meetings when I didn't really have to, I had to pay attention, but I could kind of multitask a little bit. So I don't typically work or stitch while I'm working because I can't multitask very well, but some meetings lend themselves better than others. So that's my progress on Strawberry Fields. And then I started another project. I'm kind of doing this in chronological order of when I started them. Another project that I started in December, at the very end of December. It was my New Year's Eve? Was it New Year's Eve? Yeah, my New Year's Eve start. It's a Shannon Christine design. I'll put a picture of it, what it's going to look like when it's done. Well, actually, I don't have to put a picture in because I have it done. This was my second finish of 2024 so far in January. So I started it on New Year's Eve, and then I'll pull out my stats a little bit because I like pulling up the stats. So I worked on it, started December 31st, finished on January the 20th. I worked on it for 19 days. And this is my finish. So it's a 6-part project. Each of the individual parts, each block, like these 2 at the top and then the 2 bottom ones, the center one, and then this part here, 'Tis the Season, plus the framing, that was all 6 separate charts. The frame and the 'Tis the Season is free on Shannon Christine's website, and it's meant to go along with these other parts so that you can stitch all parts together into one piece instead of individually. So my light's a little bit bright today, but that is my finish. I did make a couple of changes to it. It called for B5200 for the white, but I didn't have any B5200, and I also was not able to get any locally. I tried 3 different stores, Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, and no one had B5200, probably because of the holidays and everybody's stitching snow and snow scenes. But so I just used regular white, but since the fabric is fairly dark, I think it shows up really well. So I'm not worried about it. If it had been a lighter background color fabric, the white might not have worked as well. And then the other thing that I did, all of these backstitched letters, all of the words that are backstitched, it called for 1 strand, but it really wasn't showing up very well with 1 strand. And I don't think that would have been any better with B5200. It just was not standing out very well. So I ended up doing 2 strands on all the backstitch, and it kind of gave this little chunky letter look, which I really liked. So I was kind of glad that I swapped out and did that. What else? I think the only other thing, did I do anything else different? I think that was it. I think it was just the thread color and then doing the double stitches, double threads. This is done on 18 count color and cotton fabric in the color Continental Blue, and I picked it up when I was at their store one day, and I thought it was perfect for this project. So that is my second finish of 2024. And then while I was working on that, I worked on that one almost monogamously. I started it and I really didn't work on much else except for that until it was done. Except for this one ornament that I finished, and it's the letter R, the little bird. And this comes from Les Brodeuses Parisiennes. If you speak French better and know French and I butchered that really badly, please forgive, because I don't have a very good pronunciation or accent for French. And it's Le Grand Alphabet Oiseau. Oiseau is French for birds, so it's the bird alphabet. This is a spring one. There's also winter birds, which you'll see behind me right there. I'm pointing at it, is my favorite little ornament that I got from my dear friend Amanda. And that one was that's from the Christmas Birds alphabet series, and this is the Spring Birds alphabet. So I stitched this for a friend, somebody I work with, and I haven't finished it into an ornament yet. It's also not ironed. I'm sorry. I haven't ironed any of my projects, so I apologize that if you don't like wrinkles. I always iron them before I finish, fully finish them in a frame or however I'm going to do it. So anyway, it's a cute little bird. Hold it up close. Isn't it so cute? And it didn't take very long. I only stitched on it for a couple of days. Let's see. Pull up my stats again. I started this one on January 12th and finished it on January 13th. Stitched on it for 2 days. Oh, I'm already at a chronological order, but that's okay. I have another project that I'm working on. I got it as a kit. I think I showed this in my last video in my whip parade. I got it as a kit for Christmas for my daughter. It's called Girl Selling Flowers. I think it's listed differently on the website on Luca-S. Sorry, it's been a long week. I'm so glad it's Friday. It's a Luca-S kit, and but I think it might be listed a couple of different ways. So Girl Selling Flowers is how it was listed on the website, I think, or maybe the kit. Anyway, so I already showed you a picture of what it's going to look like when it's done, and this is how far I am on it so far. I don't think I worked on it at all in January, so I don't think there's any more progress than from the last time I showed it to you, but I'm just kind of working in diagonals, and the reason for that is because, and it's kit fabric, it's 18 count kit fabric, it comes pre-gridded, and the reason that I'm working on it in diagonals because there's so much background of this color, and it's almost the same color as the fabric. Like, it is pretty much the same color as the fabric. And because there's so much background here, I didn't want to work in columns, and I was kind of struggling with how am I going to work all this background of the same color without having any kind of lines or, you know, any breaks that it's going to look like I started and stopped in different places. So I'm doing it diagonal, and so far, I mean, you can tell I'm not seeing any lines by doing it diagonal where I'm starting and stopping my stitches. Nothing that's noticeable to the eye anyway. So I haven't gotten into the meat of everything yet. No girl. It's a little while. It's going to be a lot more diagonals before I get to the girl, but anyway. Really love this one. I didn't work on it in January, but I do plan to work on it in February for full coverage February, which I'm doing with Colette the Highway Stitcher. She's Colette Stitcher on Instagram, and she's the Highway Stitcher on YouTube. And Stitchin' Mommy is also participating in full coverage February, and quite a few other people, I think. I don't even know. Probably I couldn't list them all even if I knew. So I decided to join in. So I worked on that in December, but after I finished my bird, and after I finished my Shannon Christine design called Holidays, I decided to start a Mirabilia. And it's one that I've been wanting to start for a long time, but I've always been on the fence, partly because I'm going to show you the original pattern. It's Cinderella. I'll put it up on the screen. I love this pattern, but the colors are not Cinderella's colors. So Cinderella had a blue dress. The castle in the background is really nice, but it's like the whole design has a lot of gold and gold tones, and not that it's not a problem, but I always imagined a Cinderella scene to be a little bit more cooler tones, and especially with a nice background colored fabric that is more of like nighttime. So I'm taking a risk. I decided to do a conversion. The dress is converted according to a conversion I found at a store called The Stitch Bug in Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada. There is a model that's stitched in on the wall there, and when I asked about it, they gave me, the lady who stitched it had given them the conversion that she used for the dress. So I thought, okay, beautiful. I absolutely want to do that dress conversion, and so that's what I'm going to do. But I didn't want to just convert the dress, so I've also decided to take the gold and browns out of the chart. So I'll show the picture again of what it looks like. The border is all like a dark brown, like a mossy brown, and the corners have little gold, I don't know what they are. It's where the ribbons are kind of like sway, what do you call it, a swag? So they're kind of like holding the ribbons. Those are all gold with gold Krynic, and I just don't want any gold in the pattern. I wanted to kind of take it more to silvers and grays and more of the cooler colors. So I've decided to, and I didn't bring it here with me, but I'll show you when I show what I've done so far. I've decided to convert the castle and the border, and I'm taking a risk, and I don't know if it looks okay. I'm going to show you. I don't know. I've never converted a chart before, and so I'm just kind of picking colors and trying it, and if I don't like it, I pick it out and try something else. But I'm really happy with it. So if you don't like it, I apologize. I am actually in love with how it's coming out. I absolutely love the castle, the way I'm stitching it. So without further ado, I'll show you what I've got done so far. This is done on Picture This Plus 32 count Storm. So this is the color of the fabric. I'll show you that first. It's kind of a bluey gray. And this is what I have done so far. So what I've done with, let me fold this so I can hold it with one hand. What I've changed so far, I've changed, these were like a light green and white. The little, they're not ribbons, whatever they are, they're like, words are not easy for me today. So these things, the things right here are switched to the blues, some of the blues that are in her dress. And I initially had white in here as an accent color, and it was very, the contrast was too much and it was overpowering, and it didn't look very good. So I took out the white and did a light gray, and I feel like now it becomes a little bit more of a background. It kind of moved the gray instead of the white, moved these to the back, and now the frame that has the little white edging kind of, it helps me, at least when I'm looking at it, it gives it some perspective. So these end up being more in the background and the border kind of stays at the front. So it's almost like you're looking through the border to see the castle in the background. That's my theory anyway. And I talked to my daughter about it too. She's an art major and she agreed with it. So, and now the border was browns with a darker brown edging both on the outside and on the inside. I changed that to a gray. I think it's 3865. No, it's not 3860. It's one of the 3800 color grays, 38 something. And just kind of did a little dark edging here on the outside, and then on the inside of the border I'm doing white. So I thought it gave it a nice little contrast between the outer and the inner. And then on the inside I'm using a silky blendables thread, and the name of the color that I'm using is Hyacinth, and it has all kinds of, let me see if I can get close. It has all kinds of really pretty blues and purples and grays and silvers variegated throughout, and I'm going to do the whole border with that. Now let me show you on the chart, I'll put it up here so you can kind of see the difference maybe between, or a picture of the castle. So the castle background was just a light gray, and I thought, that's okay, it's kind of boring. Just a light gray, but it's also in the background, so it's not meant to be predominant in the design. But I thought, if I'm using this really nice variegated color on the border, why don't I do the same and use that here in the castle? And then it kind of looks like a fairy tale castle, right? I think it does. I think it just kind of makes it look like some of the brickwork, like thinking of Cinderella Castle at Disney World, and you know, some of the fairy tale type castles, like they're made out of bricks, I think. I mean, they're like these big giant blocky kind of bricks, and to me this kind of, the variegation kind of gives it that brickwork effect. Plus it's a really pretty color and I really liked it. And then also the roofs, somebody correct my grammar. These were all charted in browns, and because I'm going with the cooler tones, taking out, this was all silver, the silver medallion things in the corners. I haven't finished that yet, but I'm going to convert that also to the grays and silvers, maybe some Krynic. And then I swapped and did the gray for the castle. Roofs. So I think those are the only changes I made so far, that you would look at the pattern cover, and because I kept all the greens, all the trees and foliage, and that's all the same. I did change the little potted plants. The pots had a brown, these are dark brown, but the only brown that I kept was the brown in the trees and the brown in the pots for the bushes. But it had another brown color, and I just replaced it and did all of them with just one color. Oh, and then the windows that are outlined here and here, they called to be outlined in Krynic, and I started doing the outlining here with Krynic, and I didn't find that it was showing up very well. It just looked kind of blotchy and blobby. Maybe it's because I'm using a 32 count hand dyed. It might be a little tighter weave than a normal 32 count. I didn't like it, so I pulled it out, and I'm just using the dark gray, the darker color gray that you see in the roof and in the castle, that darker color. I just used that to outline the windows, and I like it. I like the way that turned out. So that's my conversion so far. There's actually some Krynic in it, if you can see it right here. I don't know if you can see the sparkle. There, maybe a little sparkle if I sparkle here and here and here, and there's a whole ton of beads all in through here that I haven't done yet. Plus there's little things that come off the roofs. That's gonna be a problem. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, there's little things that come off of some. I'm just super excited about this project because, like I said, I've never done my own conversion on anything before, and it's not totally mine. This conversion with the castle and the border and these things, this is mine. But when I get to her, when I get to her dress, that's definitely gonna be somebody else did the conversion for the dress, and I can't wait to show you. It's gonna be so pretty. So that is where I'm at with that one. And I'll pull out my stats on that one too. I worked on it, I started it January 20th. So same day that I finished my Holidays Shannon Christine design, I started Cinderella. And oh, I also meant to mention that I started Cinderella as a birthday sal. It's called #Princess Birthday Sal, and it's celebrating Allison's birthday from Cross Stitch the Globe. There's a channel that has two sisters, Stephanie and Allison. So Allison had a birthday in January, so they started this hashtag for people to join in and start along. And it's, the hashtag is anybody who wants to stitch anything that is princess themed. So I decided to do Cinderella, and Stephanie's also started Cinderella, so we both started that in January, which is really fun. If you have not watched Cross Stitch the Globe, go check them out. They're two sisters that are absolutely hilarious. They are both amazing stitchers. They have a diverse amount of projects and all kinds of different things that they work on, Mirabilias and samplers and smalls and big pieces and all kinds of stuff. Go check them out. They're awesome. They're one of my favorite channels now. I don't miss an episode. And they put episodes out every Monday, which is really fun. All right, so there's, yeah, so I started that one. Where was I going with this? I'm already lost track. January 20th, and so far I've worked on it 10 days. So it's been 12 days since I started it. 2 of those days I didn't stitch because I was not feeling like stitching a couple of days after work. But I think that's pretty good progress for 10 days. I'm a slow stitcher though. I'm really slow compared to a lot of people. But I also work full time, so I only get my evenings and weekends and when I'm not doing other things. And my last thing, so I put this down on January the 31st, 2 days ago, because I was getting ready to start full coverage February, which I already talked about. And so I restarted a project called Fly Me to the Moon. I'll put a picture in here of what it's going to look like when it's done. I actually started this one probably 5 or 6 years ago. 5 years ago maybe? 2017? I don't even know. I know it was before COVID, and I'm pretty sure it was like 2017, 2018, somewhere in there. And I started it on 28 count. And I'm doing 1/1 full cross. It was 28 count. It's very heavy confetti. Fly Me to the Moon, Josephine Wall, if I haven't said that already. And Josephine Wall's designs, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, are very confetti heavy in my opinion. And when I started it on 28 count, I thought it would be okay. I was starting a lot of my full coverage. It was the beginning of my full coverage journey. I was starting Heaven and Earth Design patterns, and I did a lot of them on 28 count. I started a lot of them on 28 count. Now I almost always use 25 count because I find it, first of all, it's easier on my eyes. My eyes are not the greatest now that I'm getting older. I've always had some eye issues, or not always, I have had some eye issues in the past. So I try not to put too much strain on them when possible. So 25, it was on 28 count. I hadn't even gotten a full page done. In fact, I might even have a picture of what it looked like that I can put in. I might not, I'm not going to promise that, but so I restarted it. So technically it's not a new start because I already was working on it. I'm not counting it as a new start because I'm trying not to have a lot of new starts this year, but this one is a restart, and I'm doing it on 25 count, and I absolutely love it because it's my sweet spot. 25 count, 1/1 full cross. I've tried tent stitch before, and this is one of my oddities. When I only do half a stitch, it's the same on dimensions kits when it calls for just a half stitch, or any design that has just half stitches. I feel like I'm missing something. Like I feel like I'm not finishing the X because it's cross stitch. It's X's, and something in my brain just doesn't allow me to feel like it's complete unless I do both legs. I can get past it on dimensions designs because they're charted that way, and I love the way they look having the half stitch and full stitch and full cross together. So, but on my full coverage, using 2 threads on 28 count, I've tried that before. I've tried 2 threads 10 stitch on 25 count. I don't know, I'm just not comfortable with it. So all of my full coverages are full cross on 20, and I'm trying to do 25 count. I have a couple that I've gotten a significant amount of progress on 28 count, and they're not really big designs, so I'll probably finish them on the 28 count. One of them is a Randall Spangler design called Home is Where the Magic Is. And that one, I think I'm like 30 to 40% done on that one. I'm not 100% sure where I'm at on that, but I have a decent amount done to the point where I don't want to restart it. So anyway, so that's that. I think that's, yeah. So fly, oh, I didn't show it to you. I didn't show it to you. I talked about Fly Me to the Moon, but I haven't showed it to you. This is my very small start on, and I have a light on over there, but I don't think it's helping. So this is my very small start on Fly Me to the Moon. I'm doing the top left corner first, and I'm going to get the moon done first, and I think that's going to be really fun. And I also have a couple of other people that I'm working on this with. We have a hashtag called Fly Me to the Moon Sal. It makes sense. It's called Fly Me to the Moon, and it's a Sal, so that's a perfect hashtag. And I'm working on it with I want to make sure I get the names right. Cross Stitch Couture. She's in France. And also with Lainey from the Stitchy Veg, and she's in Germany. So yeah, the 3 of us are working on it together. Now Lainey has tons done, and she has some of hers she's cropping a little bit, and I haven't decided if I'm going to crop mine or not. I might, and she has offered to tell me where she cropped hers if I decide I want to go ahead and crop mine. I'm starting in the top left, so I definitely want to get the whole moon done before deciding if I want to crop it or not. So, and it's in Pattern Keeper, so I can always, you know, just kind of highlight some of the rows and columns and decide not to do them later. And I think that's all my stitching progress. But one milestone that I have reached is sometime in the past month, when I looked at my YouTube account, I realized that I've reached 4,000 subscribers. So thank you all who have supported my channel and who are watching and commenting and liking, and this has been really fun. I reached 2 years also in January of my FlossTube videos, so a couple of milestones that I reached. So I'm going to do a giveaway because that's what we do when we reach a milestone. We want to help spread the love to everybody else. And for this giveaway, I have a dimensions kit. It's called Winter Cabin, and this is what it looks like. I had somewhere along the line accidentally purchased 2 of them because I liked it, and I guess I liked it and forgot I liked it and liked it again and bought it again. So I'm going to give away my second one because I don't need to. And this one, if you want to leave a comment in the comments below, if you're interested in winning this, I'll put you in for I'll put you in a drawing and do the random comment generator. Use the keyword winter in your comment, and if you use that word, you'll automatically be entered to win this. So as a second, I'm going to give away 2 things. This is the first thing, is the Dimensions Gold Collection Kit, and then the second thing will be a Heaven and Earth Designs pattern of your choice from the Heaven and Earth Designs website. And the reason I'm choosing Heaven and Earth Designs, I love the patterns there, but they also have an easy way for me to purchase a pattern and gift it to somebody through their website. So that's one of the reasons I like using their website for PDF designs. I think you can do it on Etsy too, but I haven't figured out how to do it. So anyway, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that one will be, let's see, what keyword will we use? We'll use snow, only because we're winter themed. Put a comment that says winter if you want to win winter cabin. Use the word snow if you want to win a heaven and earth design chart of your choosing. And I think those two words go well together. So if you wanted to enter for both, it's easier to find, make a sentence that says winter and snow in it at the same time. Please don't use words like giveaway, win, any of those words that people are, the same way that we can search through comments for words to do random comment pickers, other people are also using those same tools to search people's videos for words like giveaway and winner and free and all of those keywords so that they can try and join these and gobble up all the prizes. And I don't want anybody who doesn't do cross stitch to win this, so you need to be 18 in order to win. I will ship this anywhere in the world, and obviously with the Heaven and Earth design, that's easy. I don't have to pay shipping, so that's open to anyone internationally. So both of them, anybody can enter. And let's see, I'll probably film, it could be a while. Usually I do monthly updates, so it could be a while. So you have plenty of time if you're watching this, and you know, if I haven't published another video since this one, then there's a good chance that I haven't, well, if I haven't published a video, then go ahead and leave a comment. So I won't draw winners until my next video. Could be 2 weeks, it could be a month. That's all I'm gonna say, just whenever I get a chance. I'm just really spacey today and rambly. Sorry about that. Thanks again for supporting my channel, and I wish you a wonderful month of stitching in February. I hope you are happy and healthy, and that all of the people in your life that you care about are also safe and well. And I will talk to you next time. Thanks. Bye.